talking about when you're hot and your spouse is not, and what do you do with that? Joe was just talking here and saying that he's just tired. He's a workaholic, comes in all day, and Chris is saying, yeah, but I take care of the kids, and hey, what about me? There's one statistic here. 50% of all men, it is reported, have an inability to relax. So you may not be alone there, Joe. You had a question.
I'm curious to know, how long have you been married? And where do you go for anniversaries? Do you celebrate anniversaries, or do you just go out together just alone, two of you alone?
We've only been married 10 months.
10 months?
We had our children first.
And then got married.
We lived together for 3 years.
Thank you. Was it different after you got married? I mean, was that, did marriage change things? Because people say, once you say those two words, I do, everything changes.
When I first met Joe, I met him 4 years ago. When I first met Joe, he couldn't keep his hands off of me. Now, I was lighter. My weight, I weighed, you know, about 165 then. I was a lot lighter, and I don't know if that's an issue or not, but, you know, he's just really, really slowed down. Yeah.
What's that they say, Joe? You keep them the same way you got them.
Yeah.
Joe, I'd like to ask, in the 2 times in the month that you do have sex, do you enjoy it, or do you just do it to satisfy her?
No, I enjoy it. She enjoys it. We both do. Yeah. I mean, we're there 4 hours, you know, not just...
I would like you to meet our next couple now. I mean, what do you do if you come home through the door after work and you're ready to va-va-va-boom and your spouse says, I just want to go to sleep? Brian is the Mr. Mom in the house. He takes care of the kids all day while Tracy works outside of the home. At the end of the day, Brian says he could use a little loving and affection, but he says that Tracy would rather sleep on the sofa. Now that's a flip of the script. What's going on in that household?
Well, she has practically no sex drive at all. When she does, by that time I'm had enough. I don't want to even bother. When we first were together, everything was great. We were friends, and you know, we had the relationship, and then we got married, and it calmed down a little bit, and we had our first child. Then problems started. She sort of blamed me for getting pregnant. She wanted to have a baby, but she probably didn't. She wasn't ready. She was only 18. So that kind of threw us into a trouble there. So we worked through that, and then things started to get better. And she got pregnant with our second child. We were having sex every day when she was pregnant with our second child up until she delivered, which was great. It was fine for me. That was great. No problems out of me. And then when she had the second child, it went downhill from there. Nothing.
So that's why you say that you'd like her to have another child so you can have some more sex.
You betcha.
Go figure. Now, can you explain this? I mean, was this just like hormones going crazy, Tracy, or something? I mean,
I think so. Yeah, in the beginning, I wasn't ready to be pregnant. And I just, the shock and all, and I didn't even want him to be involved in the pregnancy. I just didn't want anything to do with him. I blamed him, which wasn't right. I shouldn't have blamed him. And after we had my daughter, you know, we were happy. Probably 6 months afterwards, we kind of like got back to normal. And when I got pregnant for my son, it just, I don't know if the hormones just raged in me, and it was every day. It was just wonderful. We were happy.
It was raging.
It
was definitely raging.
It was just a real, you know, happy time. We were more involved in everything, and did everything together. Yeah. And since then, I don't know what happened. Once he started being Mr. Mom, I just, when I come home, I just want to sleep.
Brian, I don't. What is it that you miss with that closeness? I mean, it's just not the act of sex that we're talking about here. I mean, there's a lot more.
Well, it's the adult companionship too, you know, because I'm home with the kids all day. I'm tired by the end of the day, and I just want somebody to talk to. And she doesn't want to bother.
You're tired of looking at people going, "How was your day today?"
Right. So, watching kids' movies and all that stuff, you know. But she doesn't even communicate anymore. That's out the door. She just wants to come home, eat her dinner, and plop on the couch, and that's it. She's done.
Chris is shaking her head over there. Yeah, see, you can relate to what he's saying.
It's the same thing with us. It's exactly the same thing. He's just, you know, doesn't take any considerations, you know, for my feelings. Just like I'm just not there. I'm just a sitter for his kids, housekeeper for his house.
And here's a man and a woman who both are at-home parents feeling the same thing about spouses who come home. That's interesting to see the dichotomy there. You have a question.
Yes, I do. Tracy, this is for you. Have you ever sit and talk with Brian? and try to find out exactly?
We've
Why are you
tried
doing that?
occasionally. It's really hard to get time alone with the children there. Whereas when we first got together, it was, the children weren't there, so we had more time together. Even, with sex, you could just do it in the afternoon. You could do whatever time you wanted. And now it's like you have to worry about them walking in on you or something like that.
She tends to hold all her feelings inside and then blow up instead of trying to deal with the situation at the time.
Exactly like Joe.
I don't feel that I don't have a sex drive, because sometimes when I want to, he's too mad at me from the time not giving it to him that
Right?
I don't get it.
See, that's another thing I was going to say, because come on, ladies, let's face it. It's hard to make love when you're mad at somebody.
Yes.
I mean, you want to know your lady's mad at you? Or maybe guys, too. I mean, like, bada boom, the wall goes down.
I get to the point, if she doesn't want to have sex, I throw her out of the room.
Yes, he does.
I just
throws my
throw her out of the room,
That's the same
pillows
thing.
at her, and I say, go sit on the couch
I
then.
grab my pillow and I
It just aggravates me.
No.
I-
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
What's that, Chris? What happens when...
He hits the couch.
Well, I take my pillow and I go take off and go.
after we get upset, we argue about it. He's like, "Well, all right." It's like, "No, I don't want any handouts.
Yeah.
No,
It's always usually right after
I
the
want it
work.
from the heart.
I noticed that with
heart.
both couples, one goes to work and one works at home. Do you think that the person resents the other person for staying home, and that's why both people who work outside of the home are the ones who don't want to have the sex?
It's work. It gets you all tired out. I mean, I know I do. I mean, I got a crawling addicts and everything else.
Okay. Come on up here. Way up here in the back. Emma. Here we go.
I have a question. I keep hearing the same thing about communication, and not really sex. So do you guys think it's a deeper problem going on between the four of you up there than just not having sex with one another?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. I do.
I do.
Joe does not know how to communicate. I could sit and talk with him, tell him my feelings, practically cry about the situation, and he's just like, "By the way, did you forget to brush the girl's teeth?"
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, when
Just like that.
you know you're not alone. I mean, I think there are many people who are in the audience, and look at it, everybody's going, that can relate to what you're going through all across this nation. In fact, when we come back, you're being real leaders for another couple we're about to have out here. A couple who is finally ready to reveal the truth to each other for the first time about their unfulfilled sexual desires, and they thought they'd feel safe enough to come here and talk and get some support from you too. So we'll be joined by them when we come back.